My carrots are almost ready to harvest, but I want to have a fall crop. So I'm going to be planting a new bed of carrots and try and increase my haul for later this year. But first, I got to retransplant my cucumbers. As I mentioned in a previous video, I should have realized that my pickles weren't a vining type. Their name is pickle bush. That should have been the first clue. But since it wasn't, and I planted them over by my trellis, I'm going to retransplant them into my buckets and grow them there. I'll have one plant in each bucket, so I'm going to go dig them up. These are my cucumber plants, and I planted 4 seeds, and yes, 4 came up. So I'm going to end up getting rid of 2 of them, I think. I'm going to keep this one and this one here. They seem to be the better of the 4, although they're all pretty good looking. Who knows, maybe I'll actually plant 4. Because, as we know, I hate throwing plants away. So, basically I'm just going to dig in deep and pull up the plants. So, not too shabby, but I'm going to put this down because I've only got one hand. So I'm just going to plant this right into here and then cover that up with some soil. Push it down, firm it in, and we've got the one plant in. I've got this other one here. Yeah, I'm not going to throw that away. If it dies, it dies. So this is my pumpkin plant, and it's really taking off. This was the new bed that I made right up where I had my garlic planted, and right behind my garden entrance trellis. And as I said, it's doing really well. Coming along nicely. So what I'm going to do is plant the extra plant right over here, and then maybe I'll plant another one over there. So really, since it's just all root, I'm just going to plant it all the way into the corner. And like I said, I'm not sure if that's going to take or not. If it ends up dying back, so be it. Yeah, keep it on camera, Rich. Yep. No matter how many times I say it, I won't do it. Here we go. That one's in. And when I dig up the other one, I'll plant it over there. That way it'll be up against the fence here, and pumpkin I can allow to grow out around here, and since it stays low to the ground and theoretically these will bush up and come up a little bit, they might not interfere with one another. This bucket is filled with the old soil that my potatoes had been planted in 2 years ago. So I refreshed it with a little bit more peat moss. And then what I did was I added in some all-purpose sand. Now the all-purpose sand isn't like play sand, how like it's fine and everything. All-purpose sand tends to be much bigger pieces. It almost looks like ground up marble or gravel or something like that. And I heard of something called sharp sand, and that's like what you would use in a garden situation. And I don't know if this all-purpose sand is the same as sharp sand, but I'm hoping it provides, good drainage into the soil. I actually had planted some carrots in buckets like this, and then I found a storage container that I found down at the Victory Garden dumpster. Someone had thrown it away, and it was perfectly good. I mean, even if we were using it for storage or something like that, I mean, it was perfectly fine. There was not a thing broken on it, so I don't know why they were throwing it away. But I repurposed it, and I planted that with more carrots too. In this other bucket, they said I'm going to plant this plant here, and then I'll plant the other one. Now this isn't the roots of the cucumber coming up. This is something else here. Might have been the tomatoes I had planted last year. I'm not certain, but they didn't break down as I thought they would have. So now I'm just going to clear a hole here, and I'm going to put the cucumber in. And almost all of its dirt slipped away. So hopefully this doesn't like damage the plant, the cucumber plant. But they're in now, and I'm just going to take this one and plant it over by the other one. But it's got a nice little root system on it, so I'll get it right into the ground. So just as I did with the other one, I'm going to dig a hole. See, that's about one, and maybe put it a little bit further back. Take my plant, stick it in the hole, and we'll tap it in. Move around to this side so I can actually reach it. Pull it up a little bit. Now firm that down. And now I'll water it in just to give it good contact with the soil. So we got that one there, and we got that one there, and we'll see how they do. It's been threatening to rain all day, but I always go on the assumption that you never know if it's actually going to rain. So it's always good to water your plants anyway. Can't trust the rain. And now we'll water in the two that we put into the buckets. I'm going to put the cucumbers right over here. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't know what happened to the tomato. It's growing fine. It's doing good. And then all of a sudden, bam, started to die. Even had a tomato on it. Right up there. So I'm not sure what happened here. But that's okay. I planted 6 Romas in the garden bed behind the corn, and that'll be sufficient. This was just a plant that I had, but I don't know why it just suddenly died on me like that. The carrots, they're still looking good, and I planted a watermelon over here. I'm going to put another one in on that side, and we've got potatoes here and here. More carrots. We got beets, and there are beets forming, believe it or not, right down in here. So I wasn't sure I was actually going to get beets because as I had mentioned, these leaves had died back to the ground, and then they started growing again, and they look nice and healthy now. So I just might get some beets. And then we've got more potatoes over here. So we got a lot going on here. But right next to the sweet potatoes in the raised bed, that's where I'm going to put the cucumbers. So the cucumbers are in place, and what I did was I actually lifted them up and firmed down the soil so they weren't laying especially right on top of the dirt. But hopefully they'll grow up fast enough where it won't be an issue. So in true garden-grown grocery fashion, I ended up looking up about pickle bush cucumbers after the fact, and it turns out they do get not bush-like. They're more of a low-growing thing with vines that only go about 2 feet or so. So it's going to get crowded in here, but I think we'll be okay. Might have been useful to look that up beforehand, but that wouldn't be me. So these might get crowded here. The ones in the buckets should be just fine. So I cleaned up the bed, and you can probably barely see it, but I made drills the entire length of it, shallow, about 2 inches apart or so. And I'll just sprinkle seed, hopefully every 2 inches apart, and see what we get in here. So these are the seeds I'm going to be planting. They're from MI Gardener. They're the Danvers 126. 500 seeds in here. That should be a good haul of carrots. I don't want to put 500 seeds in here, though my wife would like 500 carrots. And I'm going to try and sprinkle just a couple every couple of inches along in each drill. So I'm going to try and just do and I'll continue on like that until I get the whole bed filled. So 500 carrots it is. It got a little heavy in a couple of areas, just trying to sprinkle them out. So with the seeds planted, now it's just going to be a matter of coming back and just lightly covering the seeds. Carrot seeds don't like to be deeply planted, so it'll just be a matter of gently covering up the drills and then watering them in. Now, it was a fast-moving storm and it passed, though it looks like it might rain again. But the bed doesn't look so much worse for the wear, so maybe the seeds didn't get floated away. Fingers crossed. So we got the carrots planted, we got the cucumbers moved, and the garden's coming along. If you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week, check out this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you can follow along in the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Thanks for watching. Let's grow something awesome.